Hey everyone, this is Jace with another Ever Crisis video. Just like a lot of other people, I'm a little bit sick after, the holiday season, so please forgive my voice sounding a little bit different. But I wanted to show you guys my very hard Mount Nibel run. This is a triple DPS run. It is not new player friendly at all. This is me doing the best I absolutely can with my account. So if you're looking for a more new player friendly run, I do plan to make one. This just is not that video. Just a quick heads up. I'll go ahead and jump into the gear for each of my characters here. So for Sephiroth, I'm running him as a magic DPS specifically to hit iced weakness. So I have his Frostblade Arcanum Garb, I have Edge Wings at OB4, I have his Shinra Blade at OB3, mostly just to make sure that all he does is attack. But also it's a pretty good stat stick. I have Materia for Blizzara, just for a quick ice option when I need it. A 4-star Quakera, and then this Ruinra here is actually just a stat stick. It's not for any sigils. I'm going to be ignoring sigils throughout the entire run. Level 5 Diamond Dust, and then for sub-weapons, I have Matt's Absolute Royal at OB4, Aerith's Silver Staff at OB4, and then the Buster Sword at OB4. Here are Sephiroth's R abilities. Magic Attack isn't quite maxed out, but it was a worthwhile sacrifice to get the ice potency as high as it is, which is going to be bringing 70% extra ice damage, which is just absolutely wild. Alright, next character up is Lucia. So for Lucia, I have her Earthblade Arcanum, but I know this is going to trigger a lot of people. I'm running her as a physical DPS, even with her Earth Arcanum outfit. It's only 5 magic attack that's being wasted, and I did a little bit of math and a little trial and error on my account, and she just deals more damage as a physical DPS, even with that outfit. I'm running Mad Minute in her main hand with Bald Eagle in the offhand to be boosting or reducing the enemy's ice resistance. The Ruinra is also another stat stick, and then for materia I have a 4-star Quakera Blow and a 5-star Blizzara Blow. And then for sub-weapons I have Matt's Killer Hornet at OB5, Zack's Black Whiskers at OB1, and then Torn Wings just for a little bit more stats. Here are her R abilities. I have Boost Physical Ability Potency at level 5. Physical Attack is almost maxed out. And then a little bit of Ice Potency, but not the main reason I'm bringing Lucia, bringing her for the Earth damage. Alright, and here we have Tifa, who I was originally running as a healer, and then I decided to try out just making her a DPS, and it worked out pretty well. So she's running her Amaranth outfit from FF9 crossover, Motor Drive in the main hand. Offhand weapon is Kaiser Knuckles, the one that will reduce enemies' magic defense. And then for materia, I have a 4-star Blizzara Blow, 3-star Quakera Blow, and then another stat stick, Ruinra Blow. Running level 8 Somersault as her limit break. I finally leveled it up. I was so excited for this. I figured, I'm going to have to level it up eventually, so this is the time. And then for sub-weapons, it's all free event weapons. So Steiner Blade from FF9 crossover. I believe that's the Iron Great Sword from their Iron Giant critical threat, and Lefko Kipseli from the Sephiroth critical threat. Here are her R abilities, if you have any interest in seeing them. It's painful not having that physical attack at level 5, it's just off by 1 point, but this is the best that I can do without having to spend a bunch of weapon materials to upgrade something, which I might do later. I just wanted to, try this out first, and it went pretty well, and so I decided to record it and throw it up on YouTube. Alright, let's go ahead and get into the run. Okay, for this run, I'm going to be mostly just bum rushing every boss because it is doable. For this first boss here, the Scorpion, I'm going to start off by lowering his ice resistance using Lucia. I'm going to hop over to Tifa and lower his magic defense. And then with Sephiroth, I'm going to be timing exactly when I want him to use his aerial Frostblade. So I'm going to jump over to him. I'm going to wait just a little bit until after Lucia has applied her debuff, and then I'll hit the button. And that's just to make sure that I can jump back over to him in time before he uses the second one. I wait until the gauge is fully maxed, and then I start a second one. And then once all my debuffs are applied, a couple Blizzara blows, and he's dead. So that's the first boss. That's literally the fastest I've ever killed any boss in any Crisis dungeon, which is... it is what it is. 70k for the score, and a 24-second boss fight with only 400 damage taken. So pretty nice. For this trance ability, I'm going to be taking the Earth Potency because, as you just saw, we have plenty of Ice Potency. I'm just not concerned about it. But with Earth, we want to make sure that we can get through the rest of these bosses in a timely manner. For these parts in between bosses, I'm going to be speeding them up quite a bit. His first random encounter here is actually not all that dangerous. I didn't bring a healing Azuna for poison, but that's because we can kill these enemies pretty quickly without having to worry too much about the poison. So that's all the damage we take, even though we didn't bring a healing Azuna. Not a problem at all. I'm going to grab these items, and the next boss that we're going to face is the Mole Crawler. So whenever the Mole Crawler is in a Crisis Dungeon, I try to get it out of the way as quickly as possible because it has so much HP, it's so tanky. So that's why I decided to fight it second. For these adds on the side, I'm just going to dispatch them pretty quickly, just with some ice damage. And then the strategy here is I'm going to be jumping into Tifa's somersault as soon as it's up, and then I'll be using Tifa to keep the boss at a high level of magic defense down. Tifa and Lucia are just going to be using Quaker Blow pretty much as much as possible, and then Tifa is going to refresh that magic defense debuff whenever she can, or whenever it falls off. And then Sephiroth is just going to be using Quaker the entire time. We're not going to be doing really anything defensive at all. This boss doesn't deal that much damage, at least not until the end when it uses its pretty big single target magic ability. But quick spoiler, we're not going to be reaching that part of the fight. So the magic defense debuff is starting to fall off. So with Tifa, I'm going to go ahead and reapply it. My limit breaks and summons are coming back up. I'm not going to be using them in this fight. I'm going to be saving them for the next one. We have enough damage to kill this boss before the 1 minute and 30 mark for the extra score bonus. So it's not an issue that we're having to sit on these limit breaks until the next fight. He starts casting his Blazing Ray, but he's going to die before he gets off. It's not an issue. Didn't need to heal, didn't need to do really anything defensive at all. Just hit it till it's dead. Pretty respectable score, 64k, and the fight only took 1 minute and 15. Triple DPS is pretty nice. This is the first time I've ever tried this, and I'm kind of surprised about how well it worked out. So for the trance ability, this is the first score boost that we're going to take. We're not losing too much physical or magic defense, and we just don't really need either of the other R abilities. There's no need for anything defensive. At the beginning of this fight, we're going to use all 3 limit breaks, and it's going to deal a massive amount of damage to the boss. So even though the boss isn't weak to ice, we have so much ice potency that that's the amount of damage that Diamond Dust deals. And then we have Judgment Bolt, which deals it. The damage is fine. It's good. It's fine. And even though the boss boosts his physical defense, we have Tifa with a magic defense down debuff. So Sephiroth is able to deal plenty of damage here, and even Tifa and Lucia can still do respectable damage. And that's that. Boss is dead. It doesn't even get a chance to use Water Surge. So you don't have to worry about defense if your enemy is dead. Good lesson. So that fight gave another 70k score, and it was a 16-second fight, so even faster than the Scorpion. For the trance ability, we are, surprise surprise, going to be taking the score boost. We don't need fire resistance, we definitely don't need healing potency, and while 15% earth potency would be nice, we have items to make up any lacking damage, which we're going to use a few items going into the Twins fight here. So we're going to heal up, and also going to use Quake Cocktails on all 3 characters, and I'm going to use a Power Jelly on Lucia. This was just trial and error. I'd like to kill both bosses before they kill either or any of our characters, and this boss does a very, very strong physical attack right at the beginning of the fight, and I'm not able to kill both of them before the physical attack goes off. So we just want to make sure that after the physical attack goes off, we kill them fast enough that it's not going to be an issue of them being able to kill any of us. So here I'm holding ATB on Lucia intentionally before I switch to defensive stance to soak this hit. Oh, look at that. Not even close. It's not a big deal. Not a big deal at all. It's fine. I'm going to swap to the other one because he gets his physical defense down first. It's 5 tiers of physical defense down. So Lucia is just absolutely clapping. And now all I'm doing is just doing full earth damage on all 3 characters as much as I possibly can. So one's already dead, the other one's half dead. And we're going to be ignoring this sigil phase and just pushing more earth damage. That's it. That's the whole fight. We're going to kill it before it's able to use an attack during this stream phase. There you go. If it lives long enough during the stream phase, it starts doing AoE attacks, and at the HP that my party had there, that's enough to kill Sephiroth and Tifa very quickly. Ask me how I know. Anyway, 45-second fight. We lost a little bit of score due to the amount of damage we take at the beginning, so instead of getting, you know, a score around 70k like we did with the other bosses, it's 63k, but that's still good enough. And now I think it's time for us to really start respecting the mechanics. Just kidding, we're going to take the score boost. Yeah, it's fine. We're losing more defense, but it ends up being just fine because Ifrit actually doesn't hit all that hard, which is kind of surprising. I thought they would tune him up a little bit more for a dungeon ranking event, but they didn't. Here I'm going to use a cottage. I hesitated a little bit because I actually forgot that I'd be getting more high potions later, so I was starting to panic a little bit, but I remembered and went for the cottage. Now, this random encounter is much harder than the first one because at this point, the enemies have gained all the crisis levels from the bosses we fought. So to handle this, I'm going to focus on the hounds first because they're the ones who apply the poison. So we're going to get them out of the way. The queen in the middle there, she does one attack and then she's going to buff her physical defense, but then she just sits there until she gets this cast off, which with my party, she's not going to get it off. So even with the physical defense up, Lucia and Tifa are still able to do some okay damage, then Sephiroth is just going to finish it off. And there you go, that's how you handle that without a healing Azuna for poison. Just kill it, because when enemies are dead, you don't really need a whole lot of defense. If enemies are dead, they can't damage you. So we pick up our high potion there, supplements and elixir, but we're just going to use high potions to top ourselves back off. And then I'm going to use power jellies for Lucia and Tifa and a magic jelly for Sephiroth. And those are the last items that we're going to use. It's definitely quite possible that I've overused items, so maybe as the week goes on, I will tune this up a little bit more, because I did this maybe within 2-3 hours of the event dropping. Alright, going into the Ifrit fight, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be lowering Ifrit's ice resistance with Lucia to a high tier debuff. And we're going to be doing the same with Tifa, but with magic defense. Sephiroth here, I didn't notice it at the time, but he doesn't cast anything. He just sits there and waits for his ATB to get all the way full. He could have done some damage while he was waiting here and not capped on ATB, because when I go into all 3 limit breaks here, he doesn't get his animation off, and so he's going to cap his ATB. So that's just wasted damage. But anyway, this is going to absolutely destroy the bombs. So we don't even need to worry about those, they're dead. It's going to take a huge chunk out of Ifrit's HP. And then Judgment Bolt, again, is going to deal enough damage, it's fine. And from here on out, we're just going to be spamming ice abilities. Sephiroth, of course, is going to be using Aerial Frostblade, and Tifa and Lucia are going to be using their Bizarre Blows. Once their debuffs fall off, I'll be refreshing them. Another thing that I could have optimized here is I didn't do a good job of keeping an eye on when the debuffs are going to fall off, so here I could have held ATB with Lucia and then gone right back into her ice resistance down debuff. Same deal with Tifa. I could have had them already reapplied, but it's fine. Ifrit, as a result of me not optimizing the things I mentioned so far, is going to get his charge off. It's okay, we swapped to defensive stance. He goes after Sephiroth and doesn't kill him with the charge. Even though we've taken all of that physical defense down throughout the course of the dungeon, it doesn't matter. Charge doesn't deal enough damage to kill Sephiroth. And then we just go right back into ice damage. We're not going to worry about the sigil phase, we're just going to kill him. And there you go. That is the entire very hard Mount Nibel triple DPS Crisis Dungeon run. So if you enjoyed the video, feel free to like and subscribe. I plan to make more these kinds of videos, as well as more new player friendly guides for different events. All that being said, I'll let the rest of the video play out, but I don't have anything else to say, so I'm not going to keep talking. Thanks for watching, and I will catch you next time.